Hello, it's the 15th of June 2025. Let's go for a walk. There's one of Dakota's buddies. What you say, big head? What you say, handsome? He's such a sweetheart. So, today it is really kind of nice. It's 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 78 degrees Fahrenheit, which I forgot to check and see what that is in Celsius. I'm still not very good at that. I'm going to guess it's 27 or 28 maybe. We're going to zigzag our way over to Bank Street, I think, and then walk on Northwestern Parkway maybe. I don't know. We might cut through the... I don't know. We might cut through the golf course over at Shawnee and back into the woods there. There's a kind of paved road back in there. I think I might actually have walked on that before. But we're headed up to the little E. Leland Taylor Park. This is 35th Street here. It's a big magnolia. It's the kind of... Seems like these things sort of bloom sporadically. This one's got a few on it, but I've seen a couple of them that are just loaded with blooms. I love the way those things smell. I wish they would last in water for more than like 2 hours. They'd almost immediately start to turn brown and the petals fall off. Really beautiful flowers. And Dakota's decided she's going to walk herself over there. All right, I'm going to turn this off and move along until there's something interesting. We'll try to go a different route as always. I wanted to go to the Jefferson Memorial again, but it rained pretty good this morning. It's all pretty much dried off, but you can still see that there's wet spots here and there. People out mowing their yard when it's raining. I don't understand that. There's nothing worse than trying to mow wet grass. Alrighty, I'm going to turn it off, and I'll be back. Okay, this little street is called Garfield Street. It loves lasagna and it hates Mondays. Ha 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 ha. This is really very typical of this area. I always comment on how there's sort of a similarity in the houses, but it's just like a few of them in a row, and then there'll be a different one. Now that is a nice looking roof up there. I wonder if that's the old original folded metal, folded seam metal roof. I can't tell if it's painted red or if that's a modern roof. The peak kind of looks like it's a modern. And yeah, no, that's definitely a modern roof. Nice though, really nicely done. And a bunch of savages right there in that house. And there's banana trees. Very cool that those things grow up here. I don't ever remember seeing them anywhere in Kentucky when I was a kid, but maybe they just didn't have the cultivars. And so yeah, we're going to walk down to the end of this and then take a left and go straight and then take a right and then go straight some more and then take another left and then take a right. And that's the path that I've planned so far. There's another big magnolia tree. See, there's blooms way up at the top of it and a few down low. The other one, it just had blooms down low, none at the top. Plants are weird. That's a pretty, is that a red bud? I think it is. It's an old one if it is. Yeah, it looks like a red bud. Look at how big that thing is. Red buds are not super long lived. I planted one at the house that I owned before, that I sold a couple of years ago, and it was 20. I mean, it's still there. It's 25 years old. Look at this thing, huh? gigantic oak tree. Look at this. It's about as big as the one in my front yard. Maybe not as tall though. But still pretty impressive. A lot of really old trees in this part of town. They're a lot better about not cutting them down here than they are in the Highlands. The Highlands, man, I don't know why people would take down a perfectly good old big tree that's shading their house all summer. But people are like that. And there's some kind of motorcycle gang, looks like. What does it say? Outcast, Kentucky. There you go. I'm sure they do great civil things for this catalpa tree all by itself. I don't know what this little triangle block is, but it's some sort of MSD thing. Maybe it's just some local water control that's meant to, I don't know why MSD has got it sealed off. It's so funny, no trespassing. Why? It's a yard. And I think I've been through here before, but this is really odd over here to the left. There's like 8 empty lots, just all continuous through here. No idea how long ago they actually had buildings on them, but it's kind of a little, kind of like park-like area now. They've got it really grown up. These are all mulberries. They are just such a weed here. See, that's mulberry, and Japanese honeysuckle. So we're on Boone Lane. That's what the name of that alley was. We're going to continue on this alley, and right over there is Bank Street, and we are going to, nice little flowers, we're going to intersect with Bank Street again up here. It does a little bit of a curve, and then it ends up at Northwestern Parkway. I think I am going to try to go through the, I don't know, do I want to go through the golf course? We'll find out when I get to the end of the golf course. Is right on the other side of Bank Street, or the end of Bank Street there where it hits Northwestern Parkway. If I just go over the levee down there, that's where I end up. It's in the, I walk over the middle of it and just go along the path. There's probably a lot of people out there playing. So anyway, I think did I come through here yesterday? Made too many of these. Should probably only make them when I go to a new place. But I don't think we've walked through the golf course yet. So I mean, it's nothing spectacular. It's just a golf course. Alrighty, I'll be back. So we're overlooking the driving range at the golf course. Several people out there practicing their swing. This golf course has some big trees on it. I think there's an American elm out there. I should turn around and real quick. There's the LG&E smokestack as it continues to shrink. I guess I'll drive over there tomorrow and do my little weekly checkup on that, because I'm not going to walk that way today. So we are going to walk down to the end of the levee here, or where it hits the bridge ramp, on and off ramps, and there's this little road here continues down underneath of the bridge, and over there on the other side is where one side of the the path, the cart path is over there. That's where you cross under the bridge, and then there's two paths over on the other side there. One going along the right-hand side, and the other going on the left. They go all the way to the back, loop around, come back. There's a bunch of people down there. I guess they're practicing their putting. These are a bunch of putting greens right next to each other. Looks like kids. It is really nice outside. What is it? It was 25.5 degrees is what 78 is. It's probably 79 or 80 now. Had been slightly cloudy right before I left. But as you can see, it is just, I thought this would be mostly sunny, I guess, but real pretty skies. This guy looks a little bit like it might try to rain on us, but it doesn't really feel like it's going to rain. There's like these backyards over here. There's that poor garage that, I guess, what happened to it? Did it burn? Did the roof just fall in and they cleaned it out and then part of the wall fell down? And why don't they make it into a garage again? I'd much rather park in a garage or in my backyard than on the street. Groovy houses. This probably was a whole lot nicer before they jammed this interstate through here. But that's probably true of every place that they jammed the interstate through. I can't think of a place that it would have improved. But so yeah, those guys are on the other track as it comes back around to meet and go underneath of the bridge. I think that might be the one that we're going to go on over here to the right of the golf course. And Dakota is excited about this. Alrighty, I'm going to turn this off and walk for a while. It smells good back here. I think it's all this clover. Let this get up just long enough so that it can make its flowers. Hopefully they'll probably be out here cutting it in a few days. But they've let all this grow up, which is nice. Maybe they'll keep this a little bit higher for all the animals and the pollinators. And it's not as packed out here as I expected. There are people back. There's one golf cart you can see, and there were three of them headed under the bridge. When I came down, had a fun time trying to get out from under the bridge because must have rained pretty good this morning. All I know is it put me back to sleep, but I was also up pretty late working on some recordings and mixing some stuff. Later than I should have been, for sure. But I caught up on my sleep. I've just got to go to bed early tonight so that I don't end up dragging tomorrow. There was a little, right over here, there was an area that was like a little wetlands. It had a whole bunch of saplings and stuff and cattails and whatnot. It was kind of a little pond. I don't know if beavers had dammed it up or if they just let it get dammed up. But there was it was a pretty nice little habitat. They came and mowed it all down at the end of winter. But apparently they're going to let it grow back up. Oh, I hear a red-winged blackbird. Now that's a pond right there. Look at that algae. Need to throw a bale of hay and a bale of straw in there. Oddly enough, that will clear it up. Yeah, this area had saplings all around it, and they cut them all down. But they're letting the weeds grow up. Where is that red-winged blackbird? They're usually hanging out on the tops of. Well, it's back here behind me somewhere. Yeah. Oh, what a pretty day, huh? It is just even though it's a little warm, it's not super humid. It's also not humid. But now that the sun's gone behind a cloud, it's pretty nice. I had to take off my sunglasses so I could see. We're going to, all the way up there in front of us is where we're going to dive into the woods. I've just got to do a little bit of bushwhacking, and then we're on an asphalt road. So hopefully the little stream that I've got to go over, oh, there is a stream here. Where do I get over this? Yeah, right here. Nope. Yeah. All right, step onto that clump of grass, and yeah, got across without getting my feet wet. There's one advantage to walking barefoot is you don't care if you walk in a puddle, but there's just way too much glass on the sidewalks in this end of town. Used to, oddly enough, the smoke town downtown, much more densely populated, really didn't have a problem with glass. I guess people just a little bit less likely to toss their Patron bottles. There's a lot of those. Man, people really like drinking their expensive tequila in their car and throwing it out the window. Much more so than beers, but I think a lot of these jerks that do that just sort of get a thrill out of hearing it bust on the sidewalk. And that tree appears to be done for. It's a sycamore, it looks like, or a gum, one of the two. And now that's got to be a sycamore. I mean, it's not dead, but everything above that crotch is gone, and most of these big limbs are, but it's still sprouting out from the trunk. Suckers all along there. Let me get Dakota back. All right, I'm going to close off, and there's some people down there that want to play. So that's the only other two that I've seen. Boy, he must have really shanked that. So here we go. We're going to go back into this, do a little bit of bushwhacking. I probably should have put on some off before I left, but we'll trust that that's not too bad. Oh, what the hell? So, apparently, while cleaning up back in here, this is where they put the cleanup. So, dang, man. Alright, there's a hole over there. I'll try over here. It's a little bit muddy. Can we get through? Yes, we can. Go around this old stump and make sure there's no poison ivy. I see so far grapevines. And okay. And once I cross that stream, it's asphalt on the other side. But there's you can hear the interstate over to my right. It's I-64. And oops, sorry, Dakota. I just kicked her in the nose. She's going to show me the way. Okay. And there is the road. I think I might have talked about this in an earlier one. I'm going to guess that there were probably houses here where the interstate is now. And I think I'm going to guess that the levee came first and then they put the interstate on top of the levee. So this was probably all cleared out after the 1937 floods. Was I back in here last weekend? I think I was. Yeah, that's right. I showed the kind of weird structures that are back in here. Ordinarily, see all these trails that the four-wheelers make. And I talked to a maintenance guy the other day, and they do take a small tractor back through here a few times during the summer and just run around on all these trails with it, which is pretty cool, despite the no trespassing signs for the MSD, I don't know why no trespassing. I just don't. It's just such a, little piece of like nature. There's nice trails back in here. It's a little playground for the four-wheelers and dirt bikes. So why not just let people get back here and enjoy it? Just right here, just it's a stone's throw from the city proper. There's some nature. See deer back in here and turkeys and all kinds of stuff. Woodpeckers and whatnot. Dakota, no, Dakota, come on. We're not going that way. I know you want to, but I don't. I mean, I kind of would, but I don't have any glasses on. So yeah, this is really kind of nice little woods back in here. So you can see the remains of, somewhere along here, there's actually a little piece of brick wall that's left from a house. And the one thing I haven't seen back in here that you see a lot in these where houses have been abandoned is daffodils. And as I say that, I see what appears to be some kind of a bulb going back in there. If it's daylilies, they're late. Yeah, even with the continuous, I don't know what you would call this. It's a little bit loud to be a murmur, and not quite loud enough to be a rumble, but it's just a constant, and it's not quite a roar. It kind of is. Let's call it a mini roar coming from the interstate here. And it still can hear the birds to a degree. It's much better over towards the river, but right now, half of the riverbank over there, you sink in all the way up to your knees. It gets pretty sloppy, especially with the amount of rain we've had, and we just had a lot. But it's also, after it rains, everything just smells good. Very much enjoy that. All right, I'm going to turn this off and we'll see where I end up once we exit down that way. Check this out. I might have to put this at the beginning of my walks. Pretty cool. Yeah, I wonder, what was this? Was this somebody's front porch? Was it, there's chambers underneath of it. Yeah, it's like, what was it? I guess this would be, I guess this might have been somebody's front yard, and that being their porch. Dakota, come on. And dog will hunt. We are indeed going over some of the same ground as we did yesterday. Let's mowed a nice little path through here probably for people running their four-wheelers from this neighborhood. I kind of pointed out this building yesterday. Nice big old thing. It's been boarded up for as long as I've been walking up here. I do like that it still has the original cobblestone streets. You can imagine what this was like back in the 1800s with horses and people pushing carts and wagons and whatnot, just pretty much going in any direction they wanted to. This isn't one of the super wide streets though. A lot of these streets back in here are just crazy wide. The amount of commerce that was going on must have been something else. And I'm pretty sure that Portland Wharf Park back there was all warehouses and whatnot. She remembers there was a groundhog or rabbit or something that she chased up in there like a couple, 3 months ago. And nope, she's gonna go check it again. Come on. All right, I'm gonna keep going. I really wonder about that empty lot back there, if that's owned by the city or... I wonder how I could find that out. If only I had access to the internet in my hand. It keeps sprinkling rain a little bit. There's... well, that's already moved over, but this is coming up over here. So we're gonna go that way, and actually we'll probably go down that street that's in front of us. I think that's Northwestern Parkway, and kind of meander back to the house. Probably go past 35th Street over to the other side of the interstate and loop around and come back to my house from the south, the same way that I left earlier. Yeah, I feel like she was finally giving up on whatever she was chasing there. But yeah, I really love these old cobblestone streets. This is a yellow brick road. Unfortunately, it doesn't go very far, and there's no Oz at the end of it. So I'm gonna turn this off and we'll come back. See, now there is an old folded metal seam roof that's probably 150 years old. If only people would just repair those things instead of putting shingles. But I don't know, not everybody's smart. Okay, I'll come back. I was wondering why there was all this junk in front of this library, and holy crap. Somebody made a mistake. This thing's leaning to the side now. Boy, they hit this hard. And it was a white car. Now, so explain to me why in the world you waste fireworks by shooting them up into the air in the daytime. It's a complete waste of pyrotechnics, if you ask me. This is Northwestern Parkway. That's cool. I like that. I guess it's cedar that they put on for siding, and they've just put a sealant on it. There is a nice old roof. Really needs to be painted, but that's probably over 150 years old too. You know, when they do get a rust through and have a leak, you just clean it off with a cut brush, and then you solder on a new piece of that's a pretty house too. And I hate those damn things. This ring doorbell, whatever. Two hinkies. So we're watching you. Yeah. I think I pointed this building out before. It's not in good shape. It is the Portland Museum, but I've never seen it open. So I don't know. Actually, they've gotten rid of the sign now, so it doesn't even say that. But what a nice big building. It'd be really cool if somebody did something with it. And that's a big honking house right there. Now there's a really old one, that white house over there. And there's is it down here? Yeah, I think it is. Let's go look at this place. Here, I'll stop and get what I can read about the signs on it. A better view of this big old thing. Man, that really is a nice example of that kind of brick structure. Now this is the Eric House. It's built in, I can't read it from here, but it says over there on the side of it. It's a pretty cool old building, and it looks like they did a whole bunch of renovating work and then must have run out of money. But let's see what it says over here. It says that it was built around 1815. So, let's zoom out anymore. No, that's about it. Come on, Dakota. Sounds like there's somebody in there. Dakota, come on. There's some more signs over here. But yeah, 1815. So this has been here for quite some time. Still has really like the detail under the eaves there. It's missing a little piece of it. And it just looks like they did a bunch of work and then just stopped. Still boarded up, and what nice big pine trees. But so at one point before the levee, you would have been able to sit on that porch and look at the river and all the stuff going on down there. This is one of those really wide streets I was telling you about. Look how wide this is. Can you imagine what this was like with all these carts and wagons and whatnot coming and going? And I think we're going to go down here and walk on this street for a minute. And we are going to, once again, cross paths with yesterday. But I'm not going to record that because I just did yesterday. But so these probably were like, the workers' homes, these little ones. And then these big ones were the owners' homes, which is the way things are. I wonder if this was just a yard or if it had it looks like there was a building here at some point because there's a great big driveway. But who knows? So we're gonna cross this big wide street. It's this street. It's gotta be one of the numbered ones. 30. What does this say? 34th Street. So this is so wild. I mean, down here, this is, 34th and Rudd is where this is. 34th Street, where I am, is about 2 blocks further that way. Somebody must have screwed up numbering the streets when they crossed over to the other side. Come here, Dakota. Hey, Dakota. Dakota. Hey. Pay attention. Pay a little bit more contention there, dog. I think this may be a legitimately old building that the city redid. Yeah, I mean, this kind of stonework is, but how old? Who knows? But yeah, I like the street. Yeah, this is another super wide one. Pretty funny. Unfortunately, my camera was in my pocket, but she saw a cat and just tore into this yard. It was a gray cat. The gray cat just arched its back and hissed. She ran at it and just sort of suddenly took a left turn and went around it, then acted like she went to sniff a bush and ignored that cat completely because the cat was just wasn't having any of it. The cat was just not afraid at all and basically slightly pissed. Looked like a big version of my Ziggy. Where is she? Yeah, you're just all kinds of brave. So Dakota decided that she was done and kept turning towards home. So when we got to 35th Street over there, we turned down it, and now we're gonna walk behind the Kroger just because. And I think that is going to be the end of today's video of my walk. It is now pretty steamy, so it's heated up quite a bit. Actually, a little bit on the sweaty side. I forgot to mention, I'm wearing my groovy Hawaiian shirt that my sister-in-law got for me for Christmas. I'm always looking for an excuse to wear these shirts, and this one is the one that called out to me today. So have a great Sunday, everybody. Have a great week, and I will, I guess, probably see you next weekend for one of these long let's go for walks. Bye.